That's so cool. Like imagine you have
Okay. Like what?
like a ASMR.
Like an
You
ASMR?
could put it here and do like an ASMR, no?
Yeah, I think we could put it there. I
Or
think
you
I would
wanna
just hold
hold
it.
it?
I want to hold it, but you could just have it
I
there.
was like, okay, quick.
Okay, so look, I did this.
I know, I saw
Shout
it.
out, shout out Onivi for
What's
the
POD? Oh,
pod, like podcast, just pod.
I was like,
So
what's
Erica
POD?
times two, so it's like twice the Erica, twice, two times the
Two times the
Ericas,
Ericas.
because it's Erica and Erica.
That's what I was thinking right now. Because Charlie's like, what are you doing? I'm like talking to Erika. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Okay. Whew. We're trying to get into the vibe. We'll see. What was I gonna say? We should do like a fit check just to like start like the day.
Everything's from Old Navy at this point.
Really?
No, literally.
Okay. Do you go first or I go first?
You can go first.
Okay, my shirt's from the little boutique by the theaters right here in Regency.
Oh, which one? Happiness?
Not Happiness, the one that's on the other side.
La que no vende.
Yeah, that one.
Yes. Is it Cielo? I think
Oh,
it's
Ciel.
Ciel.
And then my leggings are all navy. And then my socks are Patrick
Move.
from SpongeBob. And that's all I'm wearing. And plus the Crocs, but you can't see that.
Okay. Mine is from Old Navy. Except my tights. They're from Target. And my boots. Que ya están rompidas.
Okay. So how do we start our intro? Like, oh, just hi. You don't know. So we could start saying our name and then.
Bitch, are you actually recording? Like, what is right now?
Bitch, I am. I think I am. Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. Mood azul.
Okay. Oh, it's cold. Shout out to and then my blanket is from Uggs.
I know. I was like,
I like shout out to my suegra for the blankie.
I'm dead.
Okay, so we're just gonna introduce ourselves. Like, just say like your name and then like your age.
I'm pretty sure
That's
I
it.
know Girly Pop.
But still, just to like be extra.
I'm 40.
I'm what's it called? Those sugar, like not the sugar. I'm a MILF.
Okay. I'm a sugar baby.
Okay, so I am Erika F, and I am 21 years old. I was gonna say 20. Oh my god. Yeah, and then weird. Yeah. What else? We just do YouTube for fun whenever we have free time. So yeah, your turn.
I am Erika. What else? I'm 20. Like, and I like just kidding. What did I do? What did I say? Just 20.
Yeah,
just 20.
That's it. So we did get some questions, not questions, but topics we should talk about during this podcast, and I feel like we got really good ones, huh?
I know, I was going through them.
Yeah, huh? You were just like, what am I gonna say?
I now was like, wait, what do I say? Like,
I don't
first
know.
one other question, but
whatever. Okay, do you have the phone? Your phone. I mean, let's just yeah. Let's just pretend like it's just us talking to each other, not like.
Hold on, let me mute my things.
Which one should we start with? Just start with the worst customer service one.
I don't think I've had one like really bad.
Really?
But we can start with that one if you
want. So a little background story. We both work for Gap Inc. Because whatever, like we get fired to be like, oh, like they're talking shit, just Gap Inc. Because I don't know. Well, I feel like everybody knows. Okay, we work at Old Navy.
Now.
I'm not sure Old Navy for the side. Okay, so we work for Old Navy. I work at a different store than her though. I feel like it wasn't until I went to Carson that I feel like
got rude.
That people are really rude there. I feel like people are just sensitive, like they want to use their race card, like the race card, to like get discounts. So I feel like most people over there at my store feel like um I guess entitled to be like, oh, you're just treating me like this because
But I
of my
feel like
skin
in
color.
general, like I've that's did you do the training
Which one?
that it was like talk about that?
No.
We did like a training saying like how well basically I did the training, but in general like they do that like in my store. I'm like I hope I don't get fired.
Yeah.
Unemployment.
Ah. So.
What's it called? No, but they do that like if what's it called? um like if they see like a type of person like
Mm-hmm.
of color, like they start following that person. Like they're like, oh, like in the walking, they're like, oh,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
follow that person, and I'm like, dude, like calm down.
yeah.
But
No,
a veces like depends like
yeah, but
how
see,
they
like, so like in my store, since it's like very like black dominant, it's like
uh
very hard. Like you can just like straight out like point out that person because
mhm,
in general, like if you see like all the people in store, like they're
mhm,
mostly um like black race.
mhm. No, but
Um,
over there they do that like, and I was like thinking like that is kind of fucked up.
that is fucked up because I remember they would do that a lot at your store.
And I'm just like, and that dude, they fucking did a training about that. So I'm like, how do you guys do a training about that? But you guys do that like in the store.
True.
So I was just like, whatever.
But okay, so for my experience, I think it was funny. I feel like it was like the worst funny one. It was so me and my coworker, she was ringing that lady up and it was like a Karen moment. And I
Mm.
was ringing another person on the other register. And she's like, "You ladies should smile more because you guys work in
What
customer service."
the-
Yeah. And me and her look at each other like, what the hell? Like, why would you say that?
uh-huh.
And then whatever. And then does it happen to you in your store that sometimes the pins like double?
Bitch, they always fucking do that.
You're right.
But I'm like, girl,
So then that was happening to the lady, and I was like, oh, like when my coworker was like, oh, like the pins
let
double,
me
like be
fix it.
careful.
Yeah.
And then she was whatever, like she takes her stuff and everything, and then she gets upset because like it's doubling, and I'm like, oh well, we're just trying to explain to you that it doubles, so like be careful. And she's like, no, 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 like um don't touch me, like I'm gonna call corporate, like you guys don't know
What
what.
the
Yeah, she's
fuck?
like, you guys don't know how to do your job. And she freaking like takes her fucking bag, but I think like she had bought candy, so the candy falls. And then I was like, oh, I was like, you dropped something. I told her, I was like, you dropped something, because she was already going off on like on our attitude, but I don't think we
Mhm.
had attitude. And then she calls like a couple minutes later and I answer, and then she's like, oh yeah, she's like, I want to make a complaint over a girl that was wearing a Chucky sweater.
They were wearing a ticket.
No, my
Oh,
coworker was wearing a Chucky sweater.
I was like,
And then she's like, yeah, like she's very professional, I'm gonna call the corporate and this and that. And then I was like, what the hell? And I just clicked and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like
hmm.
that's just so dumb. I feel like that was the worst because like why did she make something smart or something just because quote unquote we didn't smile? And
Oh,
then from the pin pad. But I mean if she's the one like pressing it hard, then it's your fault.
I don't think I've had one right now.
No.
I think I had one yesterday, but it wasn't like that big.
No.
Like I'm telling you, like how I told you before, like the labels, like how they are, like how do you say it?
Like targeting in a way
Not like the labels, pero como like like the little papers, like the promotions,
uh-huh.
like they're not like very like detailed. You get
Oh
me?
right, right, right.
And yesterday I was over there, and then the guy comes. That she fucking scary. Like I was like, like fixing the candy, and as soon as I turn around, like he's like, oh, can you help me? And I was like, oh shit.
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, oh, like he was like, I have. There's a sign outside like that says like, oh, jeans are all like what's it called, like 14.99. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh,
And it's
like
like starting at
yeah, but I
14.
thought it was like the sale from like last week. So then I was like, oh, they probably didn't take it out. So then I went and so like I told them like one of them, and I was like, oh, like is it 14% off, like 14.99? And she's like, no, she's like, it's only the straight for women. And then he comes and he looks at me, and I'm like, oh, like it's the straight for women.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, take it out. And then I was like, take out what? He's like, the sign. He's like, next time take it out. He's like, if it's not gonna say for all, for like all people.
But see, like that's the thing,
I'm
like
like, bitch, what the
about
fuck?
retail, like they're obviously gonna like try to confuse you to go at least inside the store and end up buying something. But like what people think is like it's just you just gotta read the fine print.
I was just like, oh, I was like, okay, and
It's
I
like, why
literally
are you
just,
overreacting? Like, if you want something cheap, just go to the swap
I'm
meet.
like, boy, I didn't even do the label.
I'm like, if you just want something cheap, just go to the swap meet.
I'm fucking dead. We go to the next one.
You pick.
I think I'm going to forgiving family.
The topic itself is forgiving family. Like, how within yourself do you forgive your family?
Like, I don't know. I don't tell them, like,
No, like within yourself. Like, okay, like I'm gonna explain to you, and then like whatever might resonate, like you could add on to it.
okay.
Because
Let's
okay,
see.
I feel like you're kind of confusing like the topic. Okay, so the topic is forgiving family, and I feel like how I mentioned before that like the way you grew up like may not like resonate like the way I grew up because like we grew up in different environments
Mm-hmm.
where like my family wasn't always like very like my family itself was never like stable, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then me growing up in different places and like being everywhere, like you like for me the what took like what was hard was that when my dad left, like that family, like quote unquote what like my dad's brothers and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, um like in a way you'd probably like I'd probably expect for them to like not like to give me stuff or nothing, but like
To be there for
yeah,
you.
like a support. And
Mm-hmm.
then it kind of like now that my dad came back,
Like, now they're
now
doing it.
now they ask for me. Now they are like, oh, like how are you been? Like, oh my god, I've heard this, I've heard that. But like, okay, you've heard all this, but like never did you decide to reach out. And it's kind of hard to like kind of like convivir con ellos just because like it kind of feels
You
fake.
have like, no, I feel like you have that resentimiento.
Yeah, that
But it's
resentiment
the
that I
same.
missed
But
out so much
yeah, but I
stuff.
feel like that's the same thing. Like right now with my dad, like we expected like support from other people, and like there's some people that have been there, but there's like some people that haven't. You get me?
Hmm.
And like the people that haven't, like they take it as like, oh, like you guys are okay, like you guys are like, pero no sé how do you say it? Like no sé, like,
Like the emotional support like is like
yeah.
lacking, and like that's probably sometimes like one of the most important ones. And I understand because like I got to see my mom like struggling becoming a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then like going back to like the topic also forgiving family, like yeah, my mom wasn't like really there like school events or nothing. But then like
Like to forgive her.
yeah,
Like,
forgive
how
her
do
for
you
like
forgive her?
or like to probably understand like the fact that like she was going through stuff too, and maybe like I was oblivious about like the situation at
Mm-hmm.
the time. And like sometimes like I also have to forgive her for like being in that toxic relationship she was for like a long time. And like and at one point I would like not like I feel like I would judge her for not opening her eyes about the situation. But then again, it's like I have to understand that like she's living her life too. Like it's her first time living and she's gonna make mistakes, and
Mm-hmm.
like she's also trying to figure out life. But it was harder for her to figure out life with me and then not with my sister. And then for my dad, I feel like for my dad it's like a little more complicated. Like I do try to forgive him and try to bond with him. But it's like
We still have like a resentimiento.
not a resentimiento in such a way of like, oh, why'd you leave? Because I know like why he left, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like not it's not a grudge, it's like something that I kind of hold against him.
You
It's
just
like
question yourself.
question myself of like the way he tries to connect with me, it's in a form of like him trying to gain back like the time that like he lost. But like
Reponer también.
because he wants to treat me like I'm five, like the age he left, you know. And it's like,
You're
dude,
like, homie, I'm already 21.
I gotta date, I gotta go to the club. So like it's hard to like
I'm
forgive
fucking
them for
dead.
like not being the parents like I needed them to be. I feel like that's what it is. Like I had to forgive them within myself to like for not being the parents they like I kind of deserved, you know.
I feel like I feel like the same. What's the same thing right now? Like, let's say like you like right now you're trying to forgive like I feel like my dad's family like I don't think I've like they've been there, like they haven't been there like all the time.
Hmm.
But I know like I could have their support. You get me?
Right.
And then,
But I feel like that's better than like having
but I
them
feel like then I could, but
24/7.
I feel like I could like if anything will happen, like I feel like I could count on them. You get me?
Yeah, see, like I feel like that's way better. Like then like you're not with them conviviendo 24/7, but the day that you know like shit goes sideways, you're like they got my back.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's more strong.
Like I feel like that's what I was thinking the other time because I was like that's kind of weird like how like you could like I feel like if they would do something to me like I feel like I could forgive them like anything like I'll be like oh bitch like I'm like okay like it's
Yeah,
fine.
because like they built that like trust within you to
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like forgiving family
But
is
I
just
feel like that's
I
still
feel
like
like it has
resentimiento like in
yeah.
general like let's see what like how it happened like how I'm telling you like what happened and then like how like throughout time I was able to forgive like I'm like okay like
Yeah, so it's
whatever.
just time and like having to understand within yourself like the situation, like stepping out of the situation and realizing, okay, you know, like people make mistakes and at one point you're probably gonna be the one making the mistakes and it's just it's nice to think about it like
I
outside
always
the
see it
box.
as like you never know like when you're gonna go through the same thing. You get me?
Yeah.
Like why are you gonna talk si no vas a saber like si no sabes like si no sabes that at some point you're gonna go through that
Yeah.
or like similar like a situation similar.
Yeah. So it's like
Like I feel like everyone goes through that.
yeah.
You know?
Do you believe in soul ties? I believe in multiple souls, like soulmates. I believe in multiple
You're my soul.
soulmates.
Just
Huh?
kidding. I'm like you're my soul type.
Ah,
Just kidding.
I feel
No, I
like
don't think.
I feel like there's multiple like soulmates like in different like areas of your life. Like like friendship wise, I feel like you'd be my soulmate. Then you have like your soulmate love partner and like just different
The
connections that
TikTok, I'm
feel
like, girl, how does it go? I'm like, bitch, you're my soulmate. Oh, how does it go?
I've
Okay,
never watched
no,
it.
girl.
But yeah, I feel
Mm.
like um we have different soulmates for different things and I feel like during the time you know what you know when you realize like your soulmate is like when you're going through stuff and then like
You feel
you
safe.
start you feel safe but let's say for example a situation happens like you went through something bad and then you like reminisce about that time and you're like oh my god I wouldn't have made it without this person like being there at that certain time of my life and like being there for me and then
I
like
don't think.
it's like a
I don't think.
it's like a temporary soulmate like that's why I believe that there's like multiple soulmates because there's like at a
I feel
certain
like for
point
every stage in your life, there's a different soulmate.
that's what I'm saying like
Yeah.
let's say for example when I was going through like I don't know a breakup like I was like okay like you and Charlie were my soulmates at the time like I didn't realize it until now but you guys actually did help me a lot like when I was going through a breakup that you guys shouldn't have done the things you guys did for me like taking me out, like going out, like distracting myself. Like I feel like
Bitch, for a second, you're hanging out with us every day, huh?
yeah, like every day. Yeah, and like see that's the things that I'm like, oh my god, if it weren't for that, like probably like I don't know how I would have dealt with that situation.
I think that's like literally like the same questions you were saying right here, like your first heartbreak. Like that leads to like I feel
Like your
like a
soulmates,
soulmate,
yeah.
yeah, like mood.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think I feel like I don't.
Okay, like let's say for example, is Charlie your soulmate? Is your boyfriend your soulmate? Like do you think he's like your soulmate? Like your soulmate can be like
Yeah.
someone you
Like
connect,
yeah.
like you connect in different like levels of life and like
I feel like
aspects.
yeah, I feel like right now like I feel like cuz I've been with him for so long, like we basically grew together. So like
Yeah.
we were able to like I guess like know what I like find out like what he likes and what I don't
Hmm.
like in both ways, you get me?
Yeah.
But then
It's
I
like a
feel like at
balance.
the same time like I would probably tell him something and then like you like, or you could I could tell you something, but you can understand like a little better.
Yeah.
It's
Like
just
for
in
sure, I
situations
feel
like
like for
different.
sure, like when I talk to you, I feel like better. I don't know. Like I feel like that's
But
like
I feel like you see, like I don't think you would tell him like how you actually feel. Like you get me? Like there's some
mm-mm.
stuff that you're gonna be like, oh,
Well,
like
that's what I'm saying. Like there's different soulmates. Like there's
mhm.
like like you just connect with like people differently. You know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like I feel like likewise like when you have teachers and stuff like that make
Have
you.
you had a teacher that's just so it's just so
I feel like it would be Miss Flores. I feel like I went to her like for a lot of stuff that I like,
oh
which
my
was
god,
really
yeah.
weird. Which was weird because I never did that with any teacher. Like I was close. I was a teacher's pet, but I was not like close to them.
Teachers,
I wasn't
really?
close to them
I don't think I had one. A good
like close
teacher?
to them to feel open, like open enough to tell them my personal things. You know, like they just made me feel safe and like help.
Mr. Busky. Ah,
Ah, he was just
nah.
hot. Ah,
He
but
fucking sees this shit. I'm fucking dead. No, I'm dead.
okay.
It's a short one. Let's see.
Self improvement. I feel like that one is very it depends. It depends because I feel like within ourselves we all have different categories where we want to self improve. Whether it's like waking up early, like whether it's eating healthier, and like
Mm-hmm.
you can just like combine all like a self improvement all at once because I feel like it's impossible, and I feel like this generation kind of like pushes like, oh, you need a self care, oh, you know, this. But
You
like
need to
what
do this
people
and this and that.
don't understand is that you can't do that certain things if you don't let go of like your trauma or what's making you like
Like
insecure or
insecure from that.
you have to work, you have to go like through the rough stages of your life to finally overcome, to finally pick yourself basically, because I feel like that's how I felt um like my last breakup. Like I just felt like shit, like I gave up on myself completely, like completely. I lost so much weight where like, and I had to like, you know, I always struggle with my weight,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's not until you have that initiative to be like, you know what, like
I'm gonna work on myself
I'm gonna work on myself. So self improvement starts. I feel like self improvement can only start until you want to.
until you put and say yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I feel like I've that happened like during the summer.
During the summer,
Yeah.
like last summer,
No, like this summer. No, wait, yeah,
last summer,
like last summer.
where you
But then
felt like you were like losing yourself, and you're like, oh.
yeah, but then I feel like I've never felt like I feel like there's people that feel like that felt depressed.
Yeah. See, like that's
Like
something. Like
I
I
don't
probably feel
get
down, but I don't feel like I'd be
depressed,
depressed.
but I've seen like I feel like if you surround yourself with like good people, like
Yeah.
you're
See,
gonna
like
like
that's still self care because
yeah,
you know the people you should be surrounding yourself with.
yeah,
Because yeah, I feel like self improvement's could only start when you want to, and you only know how much improvement you can make for yourself or your goals. Like nobody could come to you and be like, you need to do this fitness plan, you need to eat this, um, to improve yourself. You
yeah.
know, because sometimes like
I feel like well then self love comes first.
yeah, for sure. Before you do
Because if
self
you yeah,
improvement, you
well
have to
yeah,
do.
because if you don't love yourself then girl, like I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's true. I feel like it's hard to fall in love with yourself. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like from my own experience, it was super hard to look at myself in the mirror. There was times where I wouldn't like if I would wash my hands like in the restroom, like I would just wash them like this because I would not like to look at myself. Like I don't know why. I just didn't like how it looked, and
Yeah.
that was because I was at my lowest weight like during the pandemic. I was like 98 pounds.
I feel like at the beginning, like when I started gaining weight,
Uh-huh.
like how do you say it? Well, I didn't even fucking notice. Like I feel like people would always be like, oh, like you like that's something like, oh, like you're gaining weight, and I was just like, ah, whatever,
Uh-huh.
like bitch, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, this place, like I feel like when you start noticing like in clothes, like, you're like, oh shit, like that shit doesn't fucking fit me. And I feel like when I started getting like my stretch marks and stuff,
Oh,
dude,
stretch
like
marks.
that started being like, fuck,
Oh my
dude,
god,
like,
girl.
girl, I tried like a bunch of, I literally, I remember I only had like one stretch mark like in my hip, and I was like, okay, like let me buy like this lotion because this lotion is gonna help me,
Hmm.
and I tried it, and I was like, bitch, like it didn't
No.
help.
So when I started gaining weight, when I started going to the gym, eating, I wasn't eating as healthy. I was just eating like whatever I would find. So I was just
Mm-hmm.
gaining weight in my stomach. I was just so I bought a faja and like me fajaba, and I stopped using it for a couple times, like a couple like a certain time,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed stretch marks. Like I have stretch marks like on both sides of my hip, and I remember I feel like I wouldn't have felt
No,
insecure
and I feel
until
like,
my mom pointed them out. She said, "You look ugly with your stretch marks."
but
Yeah. Yes, which my own fucking mom. She's like, que fat te ves. And then I was just like, oh fuck.
but I feel like that's the thing, like, you
Like I
see,
wasn't even insecure
no,
about it,
I
but
wasn't. I feel like I was insecure, and that's when I started like, oh my god, like let me buy lotion, like let me buy this, and I would tell them like, because my mom has like a bunch of stretch marks like from her pregnancy, so I was like, okay, like I would tell her, I would tell her like, oh, like I'm getting like a stretch mark, and she was like, oh, like she just be like, oh, it's like how do you say it?
normal.
Like normal, like you're getting like chubby, like or see, and I was like, oh, okay, like yeah, después I was like, oh shit, like let me buy this, or like I bought the bio oil, y sí me sirvió.
Right,
But
you
then
told me.
after that, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna start putting it. And then like my sisters, I went to my sisters like, dude, like that's literally like my insecurity. Like I fucking hate my stretch marks.
Yeah.
Like I literally fucking hate them. And they were like, oh, like they were like, oh, like don't like who cares, dude? Like I'm pretty sure like se van a quitar. And then
Mine
after,
didn't go away.
bitch, my fucking grew more. Like I was like, girl, like fuck this shit. And I would tell Charlie, like I'll be like, oh, like what do you think about them? And he was like, oh, like he said, I don't mind, like whatever. So then I feel like that's how I was just like, oh, like okay then.
I feel like something about your partner always feeling that comfort for you like works out a lot. Because I feel like there's times where I feel insecure and my boyfriend's just like, oh,
Like who cares?
who cares? Or like, it doesn't matter. Like, it just makes me feel good because I'm like, okay, it's just my insecurities, like my overthinking.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I feel like after that, like I'm telling you how when I started getting them, like I started like wearing like long sleeve shirts or how do you say it? Like tank tops that didn't have like had like long sleeves. You get me? So
Hmm.
most of my clothes now is like long sleeve because I
Uh-huh.
would get them like right here.
In your arm.
Yeah, and like I would buy like a bunch of clothes, like cute clothes and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then like I have one like for, like about I only had one like I only had stretch marks like right here. So I was like, okay, like I'm only gonna wear it. Like I'm gonna wear that shit before I get more. And now before I yeah, and then yeah, después así lo dejé. And I never I after that I was like, okay, like and I noticed that I started getting some here, and I'm like, bitch, like I'm fucking getting some here. So I ended up just like, who cares? Like whenever
No.
I
For
lose
me, I
weight,
just have
whatever.
them here, but you can really
No, and then
tell.
after my surgery, dude, I fucking have a lot like in my stomach. Like I was telling Jackie because I told her I'm like, dude, like, do you have some in your like in your like scar? And she's like, I don't have anything. And I'm like, girl, like I literally have like,
But I mean, like, that's also genetic, no? Like, don't you
but
think
my
so?
mom doesn't have that. Like my mom only has it like in su stomach y abajo no like no lo tiene.
And you have it, like, starting
Like
arriba.
literally
Like,
no, like literally like
a
after
bikini line?
like you know how like under my coochie TMI, like there's nothing, like there's
Uh-huh.
like it's good, but like arriba, like where the line is at, like parece como like it's like starting, yeah, and I'm like, bitch, like, and I feel like I feel so bad. I'm like, oh fuck, and then like when Charlie sees it, like I'm just like, but then
Mm,
like I've told him, I was like, oh, like what do you think? He's like, oh, I don't care. And I've
mm,
tried like I tried the I feel like I tried the what is it, the peanut, no, not the peanut, the buttercream.
mhm.
I tried that one, and that one doesn't fucking work. I feel like como que like las brotaron más.
But yeah, so that's why I stopped wearing my fajas. I think that was the cause of my. I don't know if it was that or because I
No,
was gaining weight.
I feel like that también, but I feel like if you wear like high waisted stuff,
Well, everything's high waisted.
yeah, bitch, because I would fucking wear the OG straight, Y todo, like, nomás era aquí, like, literally aquí, like, aquí, the fucking.
No, but it's the thing is that they're not like my stretch marks are not like on right here. They're literally like aquí,
And right here, the ones I had right
like
here, my
aquí.
thighs se me borraron. Like, I
They're
had
like
some.
they're like started from here, like where aquí,
Uh
where
huh.
like my butt cheeks,
Uh
like
huh.
aquí, all over here. So it's not like on like my waist. It's like
I
on
had
my
some right
thighs.
here, and then I had some like right here, and that's why I stopped wearing shorts because I'm like, fuck that. Like, I ain't trying to like. I'm not trying to like for people to see, but it's to make it that on. And then I feel like now they went to my stomach and right here, and I'm
Mm.
like, bitch, like.
But see, like I
But
feel
I'm
like
like, if
that's
Charlie doesn't
something you
like it,
struggle. Yeah, I feel like that's like how we said like it's harder to self improve without loving yourself.
yeah. And I was like, my sister was telling me, they were like, what do you think? And then I was like, honestly, like, like now, like I tried to avoid like some stuff, like some like eating. Like I would
Hmm.
probably still eat outside, but no como que oh like
Like
let me
before,
yeah. Cause bitch, I would fucking eat like
every day.
every day, and Charlie would come out of work at 3 in the morning. I'll be like, oh like bring me some chicken nuggets. Literally,
Dang.
dude, I would literally be like, oh like bring me some chicken nuggets and like some 2 cheeseburgers. At fucking three in the I
What the
know.
fuck? No, I feel like I gained weight like super super chubby. Like remember, like I was super chubby, and you would even tell me, like, "Oh, you're getting so chubby," like from my face and everything. Like I
Yeah.
was insecure about the fact people were like, so my whole life we were like, "You're so skinny, you're so skinny, you're skinny," and then they're like, "You're gaining weight, you're gaining weight, you're gaining weight." I was like, dude, everybody's fucking telling me, like everybody. And it wasn't like an insecurity, but it was like my cousins would like body shame me
But I
of
feel
like,
like
but
right.
like they would body shame me in a way of like, oh, cause they're guys, dude. Like they're like, oh yeah, cause like you're having some or this and this. It's like they're like that's all they think about me. Like,
But I feel like that's it's the same thing like with my sisters.
mm-hmm.
Like Yolanda's like very fit. Like okay, like girl, And then like
Really?
yeah, and she's like fit. Like she like and the thing I feel like with her, like I feel like if you how do you say it? Like I feel like como te dicen en tu casa, like they were like oh like flaca or like gorda or like you
Mm-hmm.
get me? And I was just like I would like sometimes I'll be like fuck, like like they fucking call me gorda, but I'm like bitch I don't give a fuck, like that's when I feel like, and then yeah después that's when I was like oh shit like I am getting weight, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's when I knew like okay like let me cut some stuff like not eat
And
this,
see, like it's not until like you want to self improve that you do
like stop improving yourself.
it. Yeah, but because you want to like love yourself. It's like
But
self care
también
in
like
general. It's
in
just
general
like self care.
yeah. Tea, tea on a stretch mark.
It says, what age did you mature and why?
I think I matured like
I have a really good answer for this one.
I feel like after my dad passed away, just because like I would always like YOLO, like my dad would give me this. You get me?
Like you kind of
Like I feel like
like saw
simply
life like realistically and like how it's like it really
yeah,
is.
because I feel like when he was here, like I'll be like okay, like my dad got me, or like
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like oh like or I'll just be like like my parents will get me like.
Yeah.
Yeah, this. But I feel like in general, like when I started getting like the job, like on Navy,
Uh-huh.
like I'd be like, okay, like like I have to do this. But then the same, I feel like in that stage, like that's the thing with me and my sisters that we were like, oh, like we always like fucking how do you say it? Like deal with money issues, like oh, like being financially stable or like someone living with us so we could pay like our rent and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and like we always grew up with like oh shit, like what are we gonna do. And then after that when Azul started like left, we moved into the room and like we started paying our own rent and like our like we were like actually like stable, not like like fully stable, but we
Mm-hmm.
were like stable. So we were like okay, like we're good. Yeah, después Yolanda came after graduating, and then like Maria getting
Was
a job.
working, yeah.
Yeah, so we were like okay, like we're good now. Like we're actually good. Like we're now like we're not gonna like how to say like not
Depend on like
like
another income.
yeah, like we're good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was like we fucking get COVID, like then my dad passes away and we're like, bitch, like what the fuck? And we always, I feel like that's what we always, me and my sisters always like do. Like we were literally perfectly fine, and then fucking COVID hits, and then like everything goes like fucking like, oh, like you start working, like you provide this, like you did it, you do this, like you pay this, and then
Yeah.
you're just like, oh
And that's
shit.
true though. I feel like you did mature like a lot like after that. Cause like I would tell you like oh like Erica like you don't think about this? Like no. Like you don't think about this? It's like
Yeah.
no. It's like the difference is because I had to like know those things and then you didn't have to, you know? Like it wasn't like an obligation. It was an obligation like after. Now you're like more aware of like oh shit, like this is how things work. Like I have to be on
You
my
see,
shit
but
because
that comes to the beginning of like forgiving, which is literally the same thing. Because since little, like you basically like matured. You get me?
yeah, and I was gonna say I was like I don't have an exact like answer to say like oh what age did you mature? I feel like in general, I feel like as humans like we mature more each time from each situation we have. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like life gets hard and you mature and you have to push through that situation and then so now you gain that maturity from that situation or whatever you went through and then again life hits you with the curveball and you're like oh shit you know like you have to like agarrar las fuerzas de like somewhere and be like okay what's gonna happen so like that mindset that you had when you were like oh like now we're gonna have to give this for this and this like you have to like come into realization like about the situation and like yeah it's true like before like um like it's not like I was jealous or anything, but I was like, oh my god, like sometimes I wish I could just have like normal like thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
like like how you were be like, oh, just I don't care, like my parents, and I'm like, fuck, like I
Like
don't
you
have
are.
that, like
Uh huh.
like what do I run to, like I have like I always have to be like looking out for like the next thing or like how I said like we I don't think there's a necessarily like an age that we mature, like we just mature as we go with life and
I feel like that means like a situation that has like really like, you get me, like your dad, like like you matured basically early, like since you were small, and then
mm-hmm.
there's me like maturing like yeah, this was that like everything,
Yeah.
and then I feel like the same thing as like how do you say it? Like now you're just like oh like I feel like right now you have it like a little more easy, but you feel like you're, I feel like now like you're like stable. You get me?
I feel like I have it easy just because of like what I went through. You know, it's like when you weren't going through
Yeah,
stuff, I was going through it.
yeah.
And then when life started getting a little better, like I'm like, okay, you know, like I got this. Like now I know the hang of this. Like that's when I was like it went on your side, you know. And I feel like I was able to understand you more on that side because I'm like, fuck, like having like one of your parents leave, like I feel like that's one of the toughest like things to do because like dude like at one point like I would literally tell people my dad was dead.
Shut
Yes
the
dude
fuck
I
up.
would I would and it's like and it's sad but I feel like
I'm like,
the reason I did that or I would do that is because when he got remarried um he called me like a day or two before he's like oh like I'm gonna get married from now on you're not my daughter yeah.
but that's sad. Like I feel like I will
But
like,
see, I wasn't until like what happened with your dad that like dude that shit was like fucking hit me home.
bitch. I
It
was
freaking
like,
hit me home.
I feel like
I
I was
cried more.
so.
I feel like I cried more than you than you. I cried
I
more
remember
for your dad.
I was like, where did that minute? No, I feel like I don't even like. I feel like that's the thing. Like with me, like I don't think I cried enough. Like I was just like, oh okay. Like I was just shook in that moment. Like everything that was going on. Like
Yeah,
I feel like it passed. Like pasó like muy rápido.
too fast. Yeah, and I feel like in general, I feel like it did happen too fast. Like even me being outside, like not even part of like your family, but like I feel like everything happened so fast.
And
Like
there's like
in
some people that
months.
still like they still cry, and I'm just like, okay, like I feel like there's like the things with my sisters, like if they dream about him, like
The cry.
they probably like there's sometimes where they'll feel like very depressed, like they'll be like, oh my god, like I feel like because I dream about like about him, but then like sometimes they're like, oh my god, like it's like I'm happy, you get me, like that I dream about them.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, like I can, like I dream about him, and I'm like very like, I'm like, oh shit, like that's kind of crazy. And the thing right now, like recently, like I had a dream about him, and Maria and me had the same dream, which is like not the same dream, like the same dream, but
Yeah, but like
like
similar.
similar. And I was like, wait, like what the fuck? And I was like, that's kind of weird.
Like, don't be copying me. Ah.
I love me copy me. I'm the favorite.
Ah.
No, but I'm just like, oh shit, like, but
No, but yeah. I feel like I remember that day I called my dad like when like that day like in the
mm,
afternoon like the day that your dad passed away. I literally called my dad and I was like, oh, like I'm sorry.
mm.
Like I literally forgave my dad in that moment. Like I literally
I
called
don't
him.
remember calling you weird.
You don't remember calling? Dude, you were
No,
shook. You were probably in like a
was I crying to the phone?
yeah. You were screaming. You were
Ah.
no, like literally, dude.
Really?
Like yeah, like I like that's why I feel like when it happened, like I was so shook at work. I was like temblando because like the way you were like that you reacted towards me, which I've never like witnessed you like with so many emotions that you came at me. Like I was like I started crying, but I didn't. I cried after like the phone call, and even Tina was like, "You don't want to go home? Like just go home." I was like,
I'm
"No,
dead.
like I
No.
think about it, I'm like, no, Erica wouldn't want me
I
to
only
like
remember I
leave.
only remember when I called what's her name? When I called Charlie. Because it
No,
was on fucking
you were.
Tuesday,
I
dude.
think you
No,
already
we're
with
not.
Charlie
No,
when
me
you called me.
when we hit. Oh yeah, no, wait, no, because I remember I was they had called us, yeah, famous and everything, and I was like, fuck, like why is Maria taking so long? And I was just like, whatever, like. And then yeah, this place I'm right there, and I remember if I can write a quote saying like literally if you go to a memorial, like the fucking quote is right there. And then I remember I read it and I was like, what the fuck? And I look up and I'm like, and I check my time and it was like literally 9:35. So I was just like, whatever. And I was like, bitch, like she's taking so long. And then I was like,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I'm like right there sitting down and everything. And then there was like some señoras that had like gone to see their daughter, like and everything. Yeah, this pues estoy ahí and everything. And then the thing, oh no, and then I see Yolanda coming. And I'm like, why is this bitch coming? And then she was like, oh, like there, like he passed away. And I just started fucking crying. And then I was like, oh shit, like, you know? And I called Charlie and I was like, oh, like my dad passed away. And then cuando llegó, like, cuando él llegó, like I was in there, like I was over there with my dad. And I come down and I didn't want to see him. Like I was so shy. It's because I feel like I've never cried like in
Mm-hmm.
front of you and him. So then I was just like, fuck, like that's so so embarrassing. And I was like, oh fuck no. Like I remember I was like, no, I think Maria hugged me. And then I was like literally like bitch, I was like covering myself with Maria's sweater. Like I was like, oh like no. And then I was like
No,
so shy.
when you called me, I think like your sisters too. Like I could hear them crying in the back.
I remember when I got there, Yotik was there. Yotik and Yolanda, and then dude the fucking ladies who um the people well like the girls that were there, um su daughter de la señora se murió too.
También.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, because they had first looked at us and they were like, they're probably like, "Ay pobrecitas,"
Uh-huh.
and I was like, oh my god, like everyone was looking right here, like I was crying, and then
And then like
like
couple
10 minutes,
minutes.
no, literally like 10 or 5 minutes later, like they come and then like the I don't know if it was the señor, I don't know what the fuck it was, but he was just like, oh, like there, and they were like crying, and I was like, I was like, oh, what the fuck, and that was kind of weird. But yeah, I feel like I in that time like I matured quickly.
Yeah, I mean, cause not because you had to, like you needed to. Not no, not because you needed to. It's because you had to. Like life
Uh-huh.
was like,
Like here, bitch.
yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
So I feel like you don't like. I don't think there's like an exact age to like mature. You just mature
I feel like
within like
yeah, you
life.
learn through time.
Yeah. Yeah.
See you.
Stepping out of your comfort zone is the next topic. Um, I feel like it wasn't until I started working retail where I realized that people don't care about other people. Like, don't you like see when people are like trying on stuff like in the mirror and they're you pass by and they're like, I'm like, dude, I don't fucking care.
I think I've always been outgoing. Like And I feel like
I feel
that's
like me too, but I feel like in stuff like of like que me quiero aventar a veces like talking to people. For me, I feel like that was my comfort zone.
oh bitch, I just talked to someone. Like if they're like,
That's what I'm saying. But it wasn't until I worked retail that I was like, oh, I could talk to anybody.
but I feel like depending como like that persona te mire. Cause for with me, like that's how I am. Like if bitch if you fucking look at me that's it, I would just be like,
No,
okay,
I
like
just talk to whoever I want to talk to. Like
no, I could talk
I
to
don't
anyone. Like
approach.
if they'll put me like in the table like in frente,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like I would just but como que si me mira como que
Like
they're
what are
not
you
giving
doing
me,
here? Yeah,
yeah, then I'm like okay, like whatever, like
yeah.
girl.
Me too.
But I feel like también with people that you hang out with,
Bring that stuff side
yeah.
of you.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I feel like the main like a main tip that I could give people to get out of their comfort zone is that like to be honest, that just means you're insecure. Like
Well,
within
comfort zone
yourself
is self love, I
because like
and self improvement.
yeah, because like getting out of your comfort zone it's not as hard as it seems. I feel like if you live with fear of like, oh my god, like what are they gonna think about me? Like, oh my god. Like the real tip that I could give people is like don't live in the what if. Like, what if it would have happened? Or like what if I would have talked to that person?
And
Or
then,
if
dude, and that's the same thing. Like my sisters are like, dude, like I feel like with you, like tú te vale, and then with us, like I feel like that leads, I mean, to like people well, that leads to like people judging you, but like they'll be like, oh, like you don't take like, how do you say it?
like stuff seriously.
like stuff seriously or like measures like that like that can affect you, like how you. But I'm like, who cares? Like
Yeah, because honestly, like, dude, siempre va a haber alguien que va a hablar. Like to be honest.
that's
Like
what I'm
whether whatever
saying.
you do, if it's either good or bad, like there's always gonna be some criticism. And I feel like you're your biggest critic. And so like if you're caring about what you think people might think about you, then you're just holding yourself back. You know? I feel
Mhm.
like I feel like I rather like I love putting myself in okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna finish up the video. Oh, okay, so
Hold on, girl, pop.
I know we have different outfits, well,
I
I
don't,
hope,
girl.
but it's because we went to go pick up my sister and we just got some food and we didn't finish the video, but this recap. I feel like another tip to get out of your comfort zone.
Oh, my phone. Ay,
My
sorry.
thing is not even on.
I'm fucking
Mood, I'm
David.
all talking. The thing's not even on. Okay, another tip to get out of your comfort zone is to um
Yep.
be a hope no just to like stop overthinking about what other people may think about you.
Yes, queen.
And it's all about self-confidence, you know, like once you literally put yourself out there, like I feel like you always like um I feel like something always good happen, like something good always happens, like if you do it with good intentions. Because this is what my cousin told me. He's like, in this world, like people know people, so that means like you need to make connections. So like you always have to be good with everybody. I feel like that's why I kind of like encourage myself to speak to people and stuff, because you never know like what kind of opportunities like they might have for you in the future. And like just putting yourself out there, like it's also like a very good quality,
Mm-hmm.
like just public speaking in general. And I feel like not everybody has it, but it's not as hard as it seems. Like it's very easy. And like once you realize that, like this is why I tell everybody, people don't care about people. Like literally, I got into a point where I literally be taking selfies in restaurants, and like it's because like they're not gonna think like, oh, this girl's weird. Like if they do, it's gonna be like a second and they're
No,
gonna
but then
get
I feel
over
like
it.
in general, like everyone is weird. Like everyone would think you're weird. Like if you do something, they were like, "Oh, she's weird."
Yeah, but see, like that's like your self conscious like pushing you back from like
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff that you want to do. I feel like just go for it. That's literally, it sounds so simple, but it's also so hard to accomplish. Like just to go for it, but
Mm-hmm.
in reality, that's what it really is. Like just go for it.
YOLO.
If you haven't seen our old video from 2020, and you guys should check it out. And okay, so that's it for today's video. I hope it was kind of entertaining, I guess, in a way. It's just to like sit down and talk with us, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Talk with us, like listen to us. I hope like something that we said resonated, and yeah, you have something to say?
YOLO, girl.
Okay, so that's it for today's video.
Just kidding. No, but for real though. Who cares? YOLO.
YOLO.
Don't think about it. Just do it. Nikki sponsor me.
Ah, peace.